What is happening, everybody? Welcome back to the 50th episode of Off the Rails Recovery, a recovery podcast dedicated to ending the stigma of addiction through open discussion on all things recovery related. My name is Mark, and with me always are Dave and Jared. And today we have Brandon, Christopher, and Alyssa joining us. Thank you guys for joining us.
Thank you.
Thanks for having us.
All right, guys. So basically what we're going to do is we're just going to shoot some questions at you guys about your recovery. To keep it the flow good, we'll start from left. So we'll go Brandon, Christopher, Alyssa, and then you guys can answer. How does that sound?
Good.
Do it.
All right. So my first question are, what are 3 things you guys are grateful for in your recovery? Brandon, take it away, buddy.
Oh, 3 things. I'm gonna go family first. Just like supporting wise, they've been awesome. So I'll start with that one. Be my first one. Second one, meetings and the meeting community, especially like my home group. And then the third one, just I guess being sober and staying sober. It's life's been good, and it's what I couldn't have ever imagined it to be this good. So grateful for that.
Love that. Christopher, same question, buddy.
I got a copy, Brandon, with the first answer. Family. My family's been absolutely unbelievable, incredibly supportive. And I was able to get my family back and get everything in check. So I'm super grateful for that. Great people surrounded me. I've got a solid foundation there. Second is going to be my sponsor. Getting a sponsor is very difficult for me to do, but I am super grateful to have a sponsor. Helps me a lot with the spiritual aspect of my recovery. And third one I'm grateful for is just staying busy. Idle hands for me are not good, so I've been, able to get back to the community and give back. A lot of service work, positions in the NA, food banks, all that type of stuff. So that's what I'm grateful for.
And Alyssa, same question.
So obviously, well, not obviously, but family for sure. I'm grateful for all the efforts they put into helping me realize that I needed help. And that was amazing. I probably wouldn't have done it if it wasn't for them, and for them sticking by my side the whole time, and still now to this day. Definitely probably not easy for them, but they're there and they're not going anywhere. So very grateful for that. I'm grateful for my ability to absorb like the knowledge that we learned, and through all the things I've gone through, good or bad, since being home, I've been able to maintain like my routine, and I haven't like let myself fall. Like it's been hard at some points, but I still haven't been like, oh, screw it, I'm not doing it anymore. And then third is you guys. I met a whole bunch of nice, cool guys, and yeah, I'm very grateful.
Oh.
All right,
Great
Dave,
answer.
we got a question for
Thanks.
our special guest today.
Oh, yes, I do. Okay, here's a question for you guys, and I'll start with Brandon. Okay, downstairs at Newgate, on the wall, outside the laundry room,
Oh,
there was a tournament bracket with a name on it that looked like a very bad word. What was that name?
Hunt.
No, what was
What was it? What was it? It was
What was
Clint.
it?
It was Clint.
Yeah, accent. You agree, Christopher?
I concur.
Alyssa?
yes, I remember pointing
Yes.
it out, but yes.
You're all right. You're all right. Okay, so that's not really my question. That was gonna be a trivia question.
I'm the one that said the bad word.
Okay, my question is, when we were there at Newgate, do you remember, like your first group session? I know for myself, anyways, the first couple, you're kind of like just kind of taking it all in. Do you remember which group session kind of really stood out for you, when you were finished and you were like, oh man, that was like, whether it was like eye-opening about, whatever it was. Do you recall one that stuck out for you early on in being there?
So my first group session, I believe I came in on the esteem one. I think that's what it is, right?
Yeah.
And I remember it was like my second or third group, maybe. It was an extremely tough one. Just like saying the things that I believe it was what we lost during our use. We talked about the stuff that we kind of parted ways or like lost our connection with. So I remember that being extremely tough for me, like realizing what I had kind of done. And then the one that stuck out to me the most, or like I took away the most, was probably, I don't remember what it's called. I think it was it Jahari's window, where you flip the
Oh,
paper,
yeah.
flip the paper in 4 different sections, and like other people in the group write things about you, and you write things about other people, kind of thing.
Yeah. Yeah.
I
That was
just
cool.
enjoyed that one a lot because it was, I mean, lacking the self-esteem coming in. It was kind of not weird, but felt good to kind of see what other people thought about you in like a positive way.
Mhm.
So
Yeah.
that was
Nice.
that for me.
Was good.
So you
That
did
was
that
good.
one at the oh, sorry. You did that one at the beginning? Because I guess like when you came in, right?
The one that like the first, yeah, when I came in, I don't know if the
Okay.
Jahari's window was when I first came in or not. I think
Okay.
it was the second or third week, I believe.
Awesome. Christopher?
The first session that I came in was after I completed like that day where you had that all that separate stuff you had to do personally, was the art session. So
Nice.
that one didn't really resonate a lot. But I think like after that, once we started to get into meetings and have those deep conversations and those being emotionally vulnerable, there's a lot of them that kind of transpired, that like the ones about vulnerability, the other ones about your family, putting it up there, and seeing like the family tree and who's suffered from addiction or substance abuse in your family. That one really resonated. I think the one that was the most powerful for me, though, was the one where I wrote my letter to my daughter. And that one really, really, really struck a chord. That was pretty painful to go through. But I mean, they were all really good. And that's the best part I thought about going to Newgate. You can start at this point, or you can start at this point, and you come around kind of full circle in the program. So, putting a bunch of people together and getting vulnerable and just putting it all out there is pretty powerful therapy, and it's pretty powerful in recovery as well.
I remember, was it the mask, your first art session?
Yeah, it was.
'Cause I was like, I remember I shared mine, and then you took your time on that. And it was very well done. I was like, holy shit.
I haven't quit my day job yet, but you never know, boys. You never know.
Alyssa, how about you?
Mine was an art too, I think, but honestly, I don't remember the first like group one that I had, or the first few. I think that because I wasn't really involved in it, like she kept saying, "Oh, you're gonna do it again later," so kind of thing at the end. But I agree with Brandon. Like the Jahari's window, I had it on my last day, and I thought it was really really cool. Like I really liked to see and everyone opened up too, which was nice. Like they asked you to tell a secret.
Yeah.
Not everybody did, but it was like that's the same one, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then it was nice to see, like, after being with everyone for so long and them just being comfortable saying it, and then getting like crying or whatever emotions they had, and then being able to kind of like get through it and seeing like one difference, like one extreme to the other from when they got there, and how like good it felt to get it out. And I don't know, it was nice, that one. And yeah, the art one was kind of fun. I think Mark was drawing a tree or coloring a tree black or something right beside me. And I'm like, oh, okay. So I was trying really hard, and I thought it was fun though. It was a good way to start because I like art. So, but yeah, that was it.
Nice. Well, thank you guys for sharing.
I'm colorblind, for the record. I didn't know that I'm coloring the tree the wrong color. So that's that.
Just see black and white, eh?
It's not quite true, but Jared, your question, buddy.
How has being willing and honest helped in your recovery?
For me, I think that's the biggest part, especially with doing the steps and doing your taking in personal inventory of yourself. If you don't make a good inventory on the steps, I don't think you're gonna become fully like realizing where you've went wrong. So I think that being honest and is huge because yeah, like I mean, I know now like I don't have to really lie anymore. Whereas before my life was a complete lie. So it's easier to live and it's easier to communicate with others when you know you're not covering up bullshit.
Nice. Good answer.
I always got to follow Brandon. He's got these great answers. Fuck. I mean, honestly, open-mindedness and willingness, big part of the program, right? And yeah, you know, if you don't have to lie, it makes things a lot easier. You don't have to come up with all these like stories. But it's just a good way to live life and great principles to live by. So, I mean, I wear my recovery like a fucking cape. So
Yeah.
I like it. It is what it is. Like it's just you just have to find a new way to live. And like my sponsor told me early on, he's like the only thing that you have to change is everything. So with honesty and open-mindedness and willingness, it's just a great place to start with people. And then I mean you can restart with people as well, right? You can rebuild those relationships, and then you can continue to just move forward. So yeah.
Awesome.
I agree with them too. It's like a huge part of recovery. If you're there at Newgate and you're not, or any treatment place, and you're not willing to learn or willing to help yourself, it's kind of just, not that there's no point, but you're not completely like available to like soak it in, and that's sad. Like, I don't think, I'm not going to say I saw that, but it's just in general, like say in high school in class or something, like it's sad to see, but I think it is a big part, because if you're not fully engaged, you won't be successful, and maybe you will. But yeah, and like honesty is amazing, because once you're able to tell people the truth and they hear something that they don't want to hear, they're like, well, I think she's telling me the truth, like every time now. It's like my dad, I told these guys, he saw my story like not long ago, and he didn't watch it right at the beginning because I don't know, maybe he was worried to watch. But my dad and I hadn't had a really good relationship and communicate very well in the past, but after that, now we like, I can tell him anything, like it's amazing. So that's good. And even if he doesn't want to hear it, I still say it. So yeah, definitely agree with that.
That's so funny, Alyssa. I make my family do like check-in with me, like when I see my parents and stuff like that. And my mom's like, I'm riding the wave. I'm riding the wave. Like, you can't steal Jared shit.
I didn't understand. I didn't get what you said, but it's okay.
Oh, okay. It's like emotionally when you're checking in with people. You remember how we have to do like the mental stuff? I do that. Remember how Jared used to always say, when they asked Jared how he's doing spiritually, he used to always say he's riding the wave.
Oh yeah. And then Mark was fluid every day.
Yeah, there's a lot of shredded.
Yeah, shredded, staying fluid. You know how it is. So Christopher, speaking of check-ins, that leads me to my next question. What are your guys' favorite tools that you use in recovery? And did you use any of these tools in active addiction? Right. So say if you journal now, like journaling's my favorite tool. One of them anyway. I didn't pick up a journal when I was using, obviously. But are these like newly found skills in your recovery? Brandon, you're up first, buddy.
First?
Yeah.
Tools that I use now. So when I started working with my sponsor, we went through this. It's like kind of like a back to the basics, like a smaller version of the AA book. And he always told me to go to a certain page in this book when I'm feeling like a certain way about something or the situation, and kind of go through it to see if I'm being any of, like, I think it was like irritable, dishonest, jealousy, stuff like that. If I was being any of those, and if I was, then to pray about it. So praying is a huge part of my like tools, I guess. So before I grew up very religious. Like I went to Christian grade school and high school, so the religion wasn't kind of, I knew about it. I knew like what it was all about. So, but I wouldn't say I used it during addiction. I kind of lost my connection with my higher power. So now going through the steps and the higher power being a huge suggestion in that recovery, I have now been like using it daily. I mean, that's the first thing I do when I wake up now is say my prayers. And another tool after I say my prayers is a daily reflections book, kind of. It's based on the CA literature. It's like kind of daily readings that you read when you wake up, and then I just take time after to kind of just sit there and process my thoughts and what I'm feeling, and then kind of start with my day there.
Awesome.
All right, Christopher, what are your favorite tools, buddy?
My favorite tools are I love journaling. I've never done it before. I still stay true to it. I also read the JFT, like the Just for Today, which is NA literature. I do step work. I meditate. I still smudge. And I work out. I find that working out helps me get rid of like the negative energy. And it just allows me a place where I can take my frustrations out on the weights. What else do I do? I do a lot of new shit. Like I'm now like I'm uncomfortable with being uncomfortable. Like I do a fucking ton of weird things all the time. Like I feel like I've become like a yes man. Like, do you want to do this? And as long as it doesn't involve drugs and alcohol, I'm fucking in. Like, you want to eat Indian food? Sure, I'll try Indian food. You want to do yoga on the beach? Sure, I'll do yoga on the beach. You want to go do this? Fuck yeah, I'll do it. So I'm learning how to live life on life's terms. And so with that, I try a lot of different things, right? And I that helps me in my recovery too, is finding new things. And I also spend a lot of time with other people that work hard in their program, that go to a lot of meetings, that are dedicated, that will send a text and drop a line. Because after like 20 years of active addiction, like you don't have a lot of friends when you come out, because I had to say goodbye to a lot of people. So I spend a lot of time developing new relationships, and I spent a lot of time on training floors for years, like 16 years. And now I invest in people, and I invest in relationships. So that's something that I put towards, and I get out there. I get awkward. Good way to live, man.
Gave me the chills.
Uh-huh.
Alyssa, same question.
We should all go eat Indian food.
Yeah.
Hungry.
Let's go.
For me, I like writing stuff down. Like if I'm gonna do groceries, like I'll write it on the paper and not put it in my cell phone or whatever. But I couldn't get into journaling in that way. So now I'm doing like the voice journaling, like voice recording, and it's funny. It's good, but it's funny to listen to them after. But yeah, so definitely didn't. I hope I didn't do that when I was in active addiction. I mean, I don't know what I would have said. I don't really want to know. That my mom is my best friend, and I call her for anything. But what I used to do in addiction was call her at any given time of the day, maybe 5:30 in the morning, 4:03, you never know, over and over again, like ridiculous. And then now I still call her, but at these reasonable times, and message her first and say, Mom, are you available right now? So I've learned that, but I definitely didn't, I still did that before, but it has been modified severely. So, and my workouts, that was lost during my active addiction as well. But prior to that, I did go to the gym all the time. And then I didn't care about it anymore. You know, how like everything important to you just disappears. So, but it's been a part of my life again since Newgate, and I don't ever want to not go again. I don't want to lose it again. So I agree with you, Christopher. It helps with so much, like your mood, like everything, like the way you feel, your health.
All right. Great answers. Dave's up for his second question here.
Yeah, I have two questions I'm going to put together that are very unrelated though, because I think they can both be pretty quick if you'd like. Yes, the first one is: are you surprised how big, now that you're sober and involved in the sober kind of community, how big it is? Whether it's how many meetings are available, whether it's in person, online, like on social media, how big it is. Knowing nothing about it, I'm assuming beforehand. Are you happily surprised to see that there's a lot of support out there? And then my second question is, has the nicer weather we've been having made it tougher for cravings for you guys at all? And how you guys been battling that? If so, Brando.
So the first one, yes, I am extremely surprised of not knowing anything about it. I'll tell you, but so I guess it was last week or something like that. I was going through TikTok, and I saw this guy who's like a shitty golfer, and he commentates how bad he is, like while he's playing his hole or whatever through his round. And some guy commented on it, and he said, "Why don't you every time you bogey, you drink a beer?" He goes, "You'll be obliterated by the end of the round. That's how bad you are." And he replied to his comments saying, "Actually, it's funny that you say that." He goes, "Today marks 11 years of sobriety for me." He goes, "One of 10 people suffer from addiction." And so it was kind of crazy how like something like that and something so random, just kind of, it opened my eyes. It was kind of cool to see that, because being a person in recovery as well, that there is a solution, and recovery is possible. And the second part to that question, I haven't found it that hard. I just can kind of keep them busy. Work's been busier with the nicer weather, but honestly, I just enjoy golfing, going out and enjoying like a round of golf. Kind of gets my mind off of things and just focusing on what I'm kind of doing. So yeah, I haven't had much struggles. I'm very grateful for that. But the weather has been just, I don't know, giving me more opportunity to just do more things that I wouldn't have done during kind of my active use.
Yeah. Cool. Christopher?
Great question, Dave. As you know, I get a little angry sometimes. So early on, when I went into the rooms, and I was like, they started talking about how many people are addicted, and I went to like the community out in Perth, and I was like, okay, well, there's 8,000 people in Perth, 10%, so there's 800 people. I was like, there's 10 people in this meeting. Like the fucking numbers don't add up. The fucking numbers don't add up. And I was really pissed off about it at first. And I was like, look, we're not doing enough. And then everyone's like, whoa, one day at a time. And I was like, fuck one day at a time. Let's get on it. Like, let's get out there and start doing it. And and which is the wrong thing to do, by the way. Anyone that's listening, don't do this. But I was upset because I was like, punch in, addiction, rehab, recovery, any of these words, and you can't find anything. So I was lucky enough. I sit in the area as a GSR now, and I brought up the term of like SEO. So that when people are punching these things into the internet and they're looking for help, that these rooms start to come up, right? And that whether or not it's a CA room, an NA room, an AA room, just help in general starts to come up. And so I was a really big advocate for that, because at first, did I know that the community was that big? Like, no, I had no idea that there were that many people that suffer from it. But then when I started doing the numbers, I was like, we gotta step up. Like, we gotta bring it to the next level. We gotta reach more people. And so that's where a lot of my focus is on now. But I had no idea. But it's a little bit like, when you buy that new car, you buy a new Dodge truck, and then all of a sudden you're like, oh shit, look at the Dodge trucks around the street.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's that type of mentality as well. And the second part of your question, Dave, fuck yeah, the summer's hard, man. Summer's hard, like going by bonfires and patios and all that type of stuff. It's hard. Like I was saying, like Canada Day just went by, and last year I was the life of the party, and this year I wasn't invited to the party. So summers summers are different, right? And it's living life on life's terms, and it's tricky for me. Like some people are very blessed and they don't have the triggers and the cravings that I do, because like this. I think I saw something that says like sober is cool. Say this, like rent's due every day, and that's true with my sobriety. Like rent is really due every day. Like I wish that I didn't have to go through the things that I did, but then again, I'm also grateful for that because it helps me work hard. Like one of the first things when I got out, they said, you know, I'm not responsible for my disease. I am responsible in recovery. And I was like, okay, I'll put that ball cap on. Like, let's do this. Let's get to work. But yeah. So short answer, Dave, yes.
Good stuff. Alyssa.
Yeah, so I definitely am surprised too. I think I did say in my my first episode that I did with like my story, how it was scary for me to agree to go for help because of the stigma behind it and people, the way people would look at you and all that. So I mean, I guess I didn't really hear much about it. Like we all had, well, not maybe all of us, but a lot of people have this idea of going to treatment, going to rehab is like you're a failure, like all this negative stuff. But it's like no one gave us the knowledge of how it actually is. So I think that's why we don't really know a lot of what's out there, because no one's like advertising it or like talking about it, and people keep it hush hush because they're either embarrassed or it's just like frowned upon. And I think that's not good. It's horrible. I think that people should, like what we're doing, I think it's great. Like more people should do this kind of stuff. And yeah, but I'm happy. I'm surprised and happy. So also same as you, Christopher, now I want to talk about it to anyone who wants to hear. At first I'm like, Mom, I'm like, don't show anyone my story. But now I'm like, fucking post it on the newspaper. I don't care. Everyone knows already. I thought nobody knew, but in my head, but it's like, no. What was the second part of the question? Sorry.
Just like with the nicer weather, has it been
more
more challenging?
I mean, I don't feel like the weather, but it's like same thing. It's like events and stuff. Like I don't get invited anymore, but it's whatever. Like my family is amazing. Like I'm so close with them that we'll just do stuff together. So that's good. And I don't feel like, I don't feel like it made me want to more. But I guess if I were to go to one of those events, that might be harder because it's like something I used to do while I was there. But yeah, I could see it being hard for a lot of people for sure.
All right, Jared, your second question, buddy.
We needed to prepare more than one question. No, I just I know with me, when I was in active addiction, time felt like it went by so fast. And now it feels like it's going by very slow, which is nice. How do you guys feel about that? And is it hard for you guys to balance your recovery, family life, and other activities? And then I have one more question. I do love motivational quotes, so I was wondering if you guys had a favorite quote you would like to share.
All right. So for me, can you repeat that first question again?
So
Is
for
it hard?
me,
It's basically, does time feel slower
Oh, yeah, right.
in recovery?
Time for me, I feel like it is a bit slower, but I find I'm doing more to, like, I have more stuff I'm doing to fill those times. So it's kind of goes hand in hand. Like, I don't know, like I enjoy the stuff I'm doing now. So I'm glad I have that time. So, but I wouldn't say it's like a drastic, like feeling of like I'm kind of thing. And then for me, balancing like family, recovery, stuff like that, it does get difficult sometimes, but I just need to know like that my recovery has to come first. Meetings are extremely important to me, and sometimes I'll have to skip things that I would really like to do, like hockey games, like and stuff like that. But I need to remember like what got me to where I am today and what I did in early recovery that got me to where I am now, and to remember to keep on doing those things because there's a reason why I'm doing so well today. So like I have to continue, like I can't just stop those things now that I'm doing well. I got to continue those things to stay well, kind of thing. And one of my favorite quotes, I like the one, difficult roads lead to beautiful destinations.
Nice,
Oh.
Brando.
Deep.
Oh, yeah, that was nice.
Sweet. Okay. Sorry, Jared. The first part was
Does time feel faster?
oh, right, okay, yeah.
Or
Time, sorry, man. Does time feel does time feel like it's going any slower? No. Time does not feel like it's going any slower. Like I'm balls to the walls with everything I do. But that's where I struggle with, right? My big struggle is balance. And that's the stone that I picked out at Newgate. Was that balance stone. I don't know if it was rigged, if they put that there on purpose for me to, to grab that one, or if it was all balance stones and I had to reach in or what. But balance is tough for me to do. So a lot of times I just kind of shift because I can, like, my addict brain kicks into gear and goes like, okay, let's Wikipedia hole and go down the rabbit hole of everything. So I have to make sure that I just kind of allot a certain amount of time for everything and to make sure. So one of the big tools that my sponsor had me do was get a journal. And so I journal, but I also have a planner and one where I actually physically write this stuff down, not just in like my Outlook and stuff for work, but I write it down. And then that gives me a good visualization of what my week looks like. But it also gives me a good idea that I'm not too focused on my recovery, because I think sometimes you can get addicted to recovery. Just like recovery. Like I got to do everything. I got to attend 16 meetings, and you can go nuts with that. So the planner allows me to kind of see, okay, how much time am I spending with my family, and so that's kind of allotted. How much time am I doing at work, because I can get obsessed with work as well. How much time am I doing for service, and how much time am I spending on my recovery? So that helps me a lot, stuff. But I think one thing that the regular person doesn't understand is how hard people and how hard addicts work in general. Like, we have to work so hard at our disease. It's ridiculous. Like, it's so hard. You have to put in so much work. Like, people don't understand that we don't ever get to take the edge off, ever. Because if we take the edge off, we die. And our brain is always going, you know what, you should do that. And that's messed up. So the average, or the normies, as I call them, they don't understand, how much work we put into that. So balance is tough. I've got a new mantra that I like this week. It changes for me all the time, but what I do today defines my tomorrow. That's my mantra.
Love it.
Nice.
Sorry if that question was a little offside. I just couldn't really spit it out still.
Nothing's offside to me, but
Okay. Me now?
Yeah.
I do think it goes by slower for sure. Like, I noticed it a lot when I was first like working and then coming home, and just like I'd eat and then I'd be like, oh, there's like all these hours left. I've done my laundry. Like, what do I do now? Like, normally I'd be like in bed or probably didn't go to work, but and then it's also like trying to figure out how to allow yourself to relax and not feel like you have to constantly be doing something all the time. And that's hard. That was hard for me. And I'm still kind of like that, but I'm a lot better now. I'm actually like letting myself sleep past 5 a.m. if I can, but it's definitely took a while. And I'm happy that it's going slower, because you enjoy like the little moments that you wouldn't have ever even noticed before. So it's good. Okay, so I feel like as time goes, they told us this was going to happen, where like things will come up and it'll make us like kind of test us to see how we're going to handle it. But we listen to that and we know and expect it, but you don't know how it's going to actually be, because everyone's life is different, scenario will be different and stuff. And like, I guess at first you're like, just you're home, you're happy, you're like, everything's not perfect, but it's like you're going, like Sam said, pink cloud, right? And then after, like, things will happen, events like occasions, Easter, Christmas. But like I found just yesterday, actually, I was supposed to do a video with two girls that I went to high school with, who I found out were actually in rehab too. And then my aunt's like, "Okay, we can hang out now." And I was like, "Oh, great." So I like had to figure out how to like balance it. And then my aunt was disappointed because I like split up my time. That I explained to her after. I'm like, I need to do these things to keep me like on track, and like it's very important. She's like, okay, and she got it. But it's like it's hard because you're like always trying to like convince people and like remind them. But it makes sense. They're not in it. They didn't go through it. But yeah, it is hard. That's like another thing. We work so hard. So we should be proud.
All right, guys, this is my last question. How has your addiction positively shaped you? Brandon, you're up.
Ooh, that's a tough question.
Yeah. It's a good question, though. Come on, guys.
I
Great
don't
question.
know, positively shaped me. I find that I'm like, especially during like work, I find that I'm can never say the word retraying, or like kind of understanding what I'm learning, like what my dad is teaching me on the farm. I'm actually,
Absorbing,
pardon?
like absorbing it.
Yes,
better.
thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah, like kind of like understanding and remembering what he's saying or teaching me. So that has definitely positively like has helped me grow as on the farm and workplace. I know like I'm a better friend, brother, son to my peers, I guess. I'm actually, I can hold myself accountable when I say I'm going to do things. If I'm going to go somewhere or be somewhere, I'm not going to make up an excuse or a reason why I can't come. I'm going to be there, whatever that like we're doing, I guess, whether I like it or not. I'll be there for them. So yeah, I guess it's probably changed me in a better way, that I am willing to kind of be there for everyone. Like, I don't know. I guess I don't know what I'm really trying to say, but before I would just make up excuses and kind of stay to myself, not want to leave my room. And now I love doing things. I love living. So
Nice.
Sweet.
That's a great answer. Christopher.
My addiction before recovery, do you want to do before recovery and after recovery? Because before recovery, really the only thing I can say that it taught me that I could stay awake for 4 days in a row.
Yeah. I mean, in this day, right? How has your recovery and addiction positively shaped you, right?
Right. Yes.
What positives have come out of it?
What positives? I like that.
Mhm.
All right. The positive things that I would say, the number one thing is that I'm present. I'm always present. Like, I'm present for conversations. I'm present. If you text me, I will text back. It doesn't take me 3 days to get back to people, right? I don't hide from things, you know. Like, I can remember my phone going off and just being terrified. Like, my phone going like I just don't want to touch it, right? Because you know it's 4 o'clock in the morning and you're not supposed to be where you are. So I mean, being present it's great. I'm present for all that time with my kids to do all the special things. I'm present when I'm with people. I find that I actually leave my phone places now. Like, if I'm going into someone's house, I'll leave my phone in the truck, so that I can stay in the conversation and add to it. So a lot of people think that there's a lot of negative connotations that are associated with addiction, but when you're actively working against it, it's a great thing, and there's a lot of positive things that you learn about yourself, and you learn to set limitations where other people don't know what that's like, right? Other people don't know. Other people have no idea the saying, like, one is too many, 1,000 is never enough. It just doesn't resonate with them. So yeah, I would say number one thing, present, always present.
I kind of like agree with that too. It's I had my best friend, my cousins, my parents always saying like, well, now they've said to me, they're like, it's nice that you're like here, but you're actually here. And like, I'm not looking at you, but you're like in another world, or like your eyes are like not, like Dave was saying too with the eyes. My mom was always like, your eyes are just like not in this room. Like they're somewhere else. I don't know what you're thinking about. And I'm like, hey, like, I don't know what I said, but they've all said that to me. I am very, very glad that I was able to do this before finding out that both of my first cousins are pregnant, and they're very close to me. Yeah. And like, it's amazing. Like if this would have not happened and they told me they're pregnant, and I would not have been a good person in their life. And I'm like over the moon excited. And it's like even more motivation to just like keep on track, you know? So yeah, be present in their lives and be the best aunt I can ever be. And that's what they're gonna call me, but not real aunt, you know. But anyway, yeah, that, and just learning like things about myself that I didn't even know before, like just that I didn't let myself have the chance to find those things out. I just like, oh, I'm a teenager, I'm gonna just, you know, drink my face off. And now I'm like, oh, I'm this person that I could have been a long time ago, but now it's even better. I don't regret it. It's the way it's supposed to happen, right? But it's nice to see. I'm happy about that.
Nice.
Awesome. Fellas, any more questions for our guests today?
I got one more. This is a little spin move. What do you miss the most about being in active addiction?
What do I miss the most about being in active addiction? I don't really miss anything, to be honest with you.
Wait, boy.
Maybe I had a wicked farming simulator on the Xbox. I played that shit 24/7. So maybe my fucking game. I don't know. But no, I don't miss anything in addiction. I lost too much during addiction that I don't want to go back to there again. So that's my answer.
Good answer.
Drawing a fucking donut. I don't know. There's so much terrible shit, man. So much awful stuff. Like, what do I miss most? I know what I miss most. I miss the fact that now that I'm sober, I know that I'm not gonna have to go back to Newgate. Knowing that I'll never have to do detox again. I don't know.
Oh,
Like,
yeah.
I don't know, man. Jared, there was so much bad stuff. So much bad stuff. My book will be coming out someday soon.
I do miss the fact that I could go more like with my grandparents or my dad and like have like a glass of wine with dinner. But I don't miss it. But like I wish that that was a capable thing for me to do, but I know it's not. So I know like whatever. But it's not like a miss. It's like I wish I could do it, but I can't, and I'm accepted it. So that's great. But I don't miss anything. There were no positives.
Absolutely. All right, Dave, you have any questions?
My last question is a couple nicknames were floating around, and I want to know what you like. Is it Donkey Kong or is it Dark Knight? Brandon?
It's gotta be the OG Dark Knight.
Okay, good answer.
I'm gonna call the audible here. I'm gonna go with fucking Scoots.
Scoots.
Nickname for who?
All right, Mark, wrap it up.
Yeah, I vote Drift King.
What the?
Oh yeah, Drift King. That was it.
Yeah, Drift King, DK, baby.
Oh, Drift King, yeah.
All right, guys, if you or someone you know is struggling with addiction, please reach out and ask for help. Guys, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thanks,
And
guys.
we're always here if you ever want to chat. So thank you guys again.
Yeah, thanks for
guys.
having me.
Dig it.